have been doing content for 7 years now, 7.5 years now, actually. Full-time for 6, and I have a pretty wide range of knowledge and information and expertise in different areas of content creation. So if you have any questions about content creation, feel free to ask anything, and I'll try my best to answer, and I'm willing to even check out different like clips or like YouTube channels and see if you need any advice on like what I think you could be doing better or something like that. Yeah, feel free to just ask me literally anything. So we'll see where this goes, and we'll see how long it goes, but we'll be chilling. All right, I've been doing content creation for about 6 years now and haven't gone anywhere. What do you recommend to get out there? I mean, I think short form is super helpful, but I think realistically, like focusing on quality over quantity. How do you promote yourself right now, I guess, is the question. What do you normally do? Because if you've just been streaming for 6 years, then it's probably hard. It's very hard to grow organically on just Twitch. How does one get a good start on an editor? Like, are there so much, and I don't want to spend so much. Is there a way? Is that the only way? Just risk it? Wallace, in terms of hiring an editor, when I originally hired Avesson, I was in the position to pay him a little bit, but not nearly as much as he's getting paid now. Because so what I did is I said, hey, I really like what you're editing. I found him through a friend of a friend, and basically we got in contact, and I hit him up, and I was like, hey, I cannot afford to pay you what I believe you deserve in this edit, but if you're willing to work with me, I think I can turn my YouTube channel into something that is profitable for both of us. And so I think I started by paying him like 20 bucks a video, which was a lot more doable than like 50 or 100 at the time. But it was with the intention, he also took that risk with me. And I get that's a rare situation, but if you can find the right person that's willing to see your potential and take that risk with you, that is like a much more mutually beneficial thing, because Abe's put in that groundwork for being my editor super early on, he gets 50% of the YouTube revenue. And like, that's public information. That's not the first time I've said that. We split the YouTube revenue 50-50 because of that. And he makes a lot more than a lot of editors now as a result of that. Because you know, he put in that groundwork and took that risk with me. So if you can find a similar situation, I think that's I think that's one of the best things you can do. So we scroll through. How do I beat TikTok's algorithm to boost viewers and clickability? Indrid, at the end of the day, in my opinion, in terms of algorithms on short form platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, anything like that, I think content is king. I think it's a weird mindset to shift into, but focus on instead on like, how do I get more viewers, into how do I make content that more people want to watch. It's the same question framed a little bit differently. You know, instead of focusing on how do I get more viewers through the algorithm, how do I make my content better so that as a result of that, I get more viewers. So that's, like, in my opinion, one of the best ways to go about it. I think a lot of people focus on like, how do I turn this into profit? How do I turn this into getting more viewers? And realistically, the best way to go about that is changing your mindset and not focusing on, obviously you have to focus on a little bit of like viewership and revenue. So this question is from Sumi, and she said, I'm trying to go full-time over the school year as I'm not working as much, but I'm not entirely sure how to manage my time between filming, editing, posting, reaching out to sponsors, etc. Suggestions. Let's see. That's like a really hard thing to deal with for sure, because time management, I think, is probably one of the hardest skills to develop as a creator, because there are a lot of things that you could focus on, especially like while you're in school at the same time. I think probably if you have the funds, I don't know if this is true or not, feel free to answer because I can help brainstorm some stuff. If you have the funds to hire anyone to potentially help you out with posting, editing, and taking care of that, if you can delegate any of that, that would be the best thing. Because if you think about it like this, obviously that's a risk and cost money. We can come up with ways to not spend money for sure. But realistically, if you think about content creation in general as a business and with a creator focused content creation, like Keeoh, take me as an example. And you compare it to like a Fortune 500 company, the CEO, the top of the company, they normally sit like this, and the flow of how things get done is at the top of this pyramid. The CEO sits up here at the top of the pyramid, and if you were to take that CEO off the top of the pyramid, the rest of the business would function very well. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if the CEO took a month off or something like that, okay? If you flip that upside down, that is what a creator is. The creator ecosystem is. Now the CEO, the creator, is at the bottom. If you take this out from the bottom, the whole thing collapses. Everything is riding on your shoulders to make content, edit, to post it. And there are things you can delegate, but your time is limited and everything revolves around how much time you have. That's the funnel. It all funnels down into this. So, anything that you can delegate while trying to go full time, or at least make a better operation for, is incredibly beneficial, if that makes sense. Scotty, thank you so much for the raid. We're doing, if you're new to the stream, or welcome, we are doing a little bit of streaming office hours. So if you're a content creator of any kind, feel free to ask me any questions. You can ask by doing !ask in chat, and then I'm scrolling through all the questions, and I will be just showing them on screen and trying to answer and help come up with things as much as possible. The Colin and Samir graph, is that where it's from? I've been talking about that graph for so long. I didn't remember if it was from Colin and Samir. I've been using that as an example for like the last 4 or 5 years. Because it's just, when I heard it the first time, it made so much sense. I was like, oh, you're so right. I think I saw it on Twitter from them. That's really awesome. So, okay. Yeah, so Sumi, with that, if you can delegate anything, I think the biggest thing you could do while in school, if you can't hire anyone to help with editing or anything, I think the best thing you could do is plan your content out, especially your streams, because I think it's very easy to have a negative return on investment for streaming over a certain amount of time. Be very scheduled. It's hard because obviously like gaming, it's very easy to kind of get sucked in and just rip an 8-hour stream. I say this while I've been live for 27 hours, or actually 70 something hours. Using a time limit before I give up. Okay, gotcha. Not in school. I'm just using it as my time limit for, okay. Sorry, I thought you were in school. Over the school year as I'm not working as much. Okay, sorry. So I think in general, plan your content out and set realistic goals. I want to really deep dive here because you're been a big part of the community for a long time. So do you mind if I deep dive on your socials and stuff real quick? I can help kind of maybe point some directions. I'm just putting you on blast here real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Absolutely. Okay, cool. And whatever I say here, please don't take personally. I'm always not gonna attack anyone. I'm trying very hard to be critical and like help things and point out things that I think could be useful. So I don't want to come across as mean or anything if I say anything that's a little bit more real. So anyway, Twitch, your streams are awesome. You're a great streamer. I think you have great energy, and I've been in your stream a decent amount. And streaming, I don't think you have to worry about. The actual creation of the content, I think you do a great job with. So I think that for most people is the problem. You could always become a better creator. You can always become a better creator at the end of the day. And you should always be striving to become a better creator. But I don't think that's a limiting factor for you because I think you are a good creator. So I wouldn't worry about Twitch. You're doing a good job. Instagram, I don't know if you do reels or anything. Reels are somewhat helpful, but I think reels and TikTok, let's see. let me just watch. Like, let's do a little class watch
I
here.
love the way he's just like, I'm in the vents. He's venting? Amogus? Sorry, what am I supposed to be doing?
Don't worry, I'm in the ventilation system.
Okay, I think.
Oh! Oh! Sorry, you guys. I was so genuinely taken aback by that. All right, we're on ascent. Oh!
Oh, the new agent UI. Gotcha. I kind of took me a second for it. Okay. Short form content was where I struggle because I don't really know how to tie it to my streams. I think that's valid. I think you could benefit from what I'm seeing here. I think, first off, your thumbnails need some work. I'm gonna be honest about that. Thumbnails, okay, for the most part, I don't know how. Let's see how edited these videos are.
Can anyone beat Elden Ring? This is the question I asked myself when I started the game back in March of 2024. Now it's been quite a while since then, and a lot has happened. Hey, my name is Sumi, and welcome to my Elden Ring series. I set out on this journey to prove that anyone could
Okay, I like this. If you want to do either a voiceover like this, put graphics on screen. Or put graphics or at least text on screen. You could literally do like Minecraft parkour if you wanted to, like anything on screen. Give the viewer something to watch when you're doing an intro like this or anything, or just have you talking to the camera. Personally, I actually go for the voiceover route more. I think the voiceover route is the move, and then throwing lots of graphics on screen, lots of changes. Not to just use me as the perfect example. I'm not the perfect example, but let's just look at this video real quick.
What if you could get 6 more hours every day? You wake up, work out, get ready for the day, work for 8 hours, and then you still have 12 hours left.
So lots of graphics on screen to just help. And even when we didn't have the graphic on screen, we had text on screen to help kind of give people like a little bit more ways to watch, if that makes sense. Even if it's just text on screen, like something like that would be incredibly beneficial. Like literally just text on screen would be helpful there for sure. But I'm sure the content in the videos, you're a good streamer, so I have faith in the content being good. But thumbnails are really important, and I honestly didn't prioritize them for a very long time. Thumbnails are incredibly important, because if you can't get somebody to click, I'm gonna go to my homepage and we can just look at some of the videos. Don't mind the random slots gambling videos, because that's what I watch off stream. but if we just look at some of these thumbnails here, every time you put a video out there, you are on somebody's homepage. And so your thumbnail needs to be better than the surrounding videos, or at least more clickable. Not necessarily better, but it needs to be more clickable and give the viewer a reason to click on your video versus the other people. You have to think about that actively. Look at this thumbnail and title. Steroids are awesome. This is a video I would click on. What is that? That asks a question to your brain. Would a thumbnail artist be someone to invest in, like an editor? I don't necessarily think you need an editor. If you're decent at Photoshop, you can definitely come up with thumbnails and like figure out how to do it yourself. I think looking at like Ludwig's content is a good example of like thumbnails that are not hard to make, but done well. And obviously Ludwig has done a good job of marketing himself as the thumbnail person, because he can just put his face on some thumbnails and just that gets views because now he's Ludwig, you know? But in general, I think thumbnails are really, really important. So, yeah, okay, back to, I'll wrap this, we spent a lot of time here and I want to get to more questions, but, I think what you should do is focus on planning your content out before you stream, and plan out what kind of content you want to make on both TikTok and YouTube at the same time. And then you can actually make content that is less reactive and more produced from the beforehand, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you want to do, I mean, I can pull from my content examples. Like obviously I do the speed runs, which gives my content a lot of direction. It gives a lot of my YouTube videos a lot of direction. And being able to do a multitude of those things is like very helpful. So I would set a goal you know you can crush. I don't know exactly what it would be with how much you are sending it and stuff, but set a goal of like posting one really good YouTube video a week or something like that, with a good thumbnail, a good title, a good intro. Those are the most important things. And then maybe even make from that long video shorts. Make shorts from the long video, either multiple or one really good shorts that sums up the whole thing. So yeah, I hope that helps give some direction, but I would focus on the pre-production of the stream. Come up with something that you want to do. Okay, I'm going to get 3 wins in a row in Valorant Ranked. Okay, I'm going to win a game on these agents. Okay, I'm going to do an Elden Ring run where I can't do this. You know, I don't know what it is. I'm just trying to think of things like that to give it a little bit more flair. And I think that would be beneficial. Super helpful. Thank you. Got you. I'm glad I can help. That's what we're here for. All right, next question. We're moving in. We're moving. How many hours should I put into editing and posting and gaming? Realistically, if you want to be a content creator and you're starting out and you want to like actually send it, I would put an equal or even more time into editing and posting in comparison to when you actually play the game. Would be my honest opinion, because I think it's less about making, it's about making good content when you're playing the game, but then also like putting the extra effort in to polish up those edits and make it really good and make it really clickable and understand all those things. Because yeah, I think having something that at the end of the day, you can throw everything you know about algorithms out the window. Good content is king. People want to watch something they like. It's as simple as it is. It's just people want to watch good content. So if your content isn't good enough, you need to, you know, revisit the board and maybe that's what's holding you back. But at the end of the day, good content is king. So okay. I need to delete the questions. Okay. Let's see, another question here. How is your day-to-day life as a content creator? I assume day-to-day life as a content creator. Especially since you have been slowly branching out into IRL stuff. Does your brain always go content mode? I need to do this for a video/stream. TLDR, how easily do you turn off your content creator mode to enjoy IRL offline? Simply put, I don't. I rarely, my brain is never not in content creator mode, pretty much always. And that's not the healthiest thing, but I think if you want to be a full-time content creator, realistically, it's a very, very competitive space. So if you are not, if you're not always thinking about content, I think you are gonna like fall off. I'm not saying that that's healthy and you shouldn't take breaks and you shouldn't take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. Those are very important things. But I think it's very hard for me to turn off my content creator mode brain. It's in every aspect of the things that I do. I think about how can I turn this into something that is a good story, a good video, a good challenge. And sometimes being able to turn off your brain and like that inspiration can hit you and it's awesome. But for me, I think finding outlets that allow you to turn off your brain is the more important part, instead of taking time. Because I think there's times where I'm like, oh, okay, I need a break, and I can easily switch and just be like, I'm done. I'm not thinking about anything. And there are other times where I'm like, I need a break, and then 20 things pop into my head of like, oh crap, I have all these things I need to do, and I can't stop thinking about them. So finding ways that you can personally like cope in turning off content creator mode, for me, it's rock climbing. Rock climbing is a very good outlet for me. And even though I make some content rock climbing, like it's a very helpful outlet for me personally, because I can't be thinking of content while I'm also thinking of a problem while I'm doing that problem. I mainly just get to focus on the puzzle on the wall and using my body to do that. And I get a good mental and physical workout from that. And that helps me like reset. But in terms of like actually swapping back and forth, like it's not a switch that you can turn on and off, but it's something you can train for sure. To me, that mindset seems completely toxic to yourself, but I guess as someone who has not been in the content creator space, I wouldn't get it. Yeah, I think like realistically, very few people should be full-time content creators. Like if you want to be a highly successful content creator, it needs to be your life. It just does. Like, because otherwise the person next to you, it's their life. And if it's not yours, then they're going to do better than you most of the time. So like, does that make sense? And I don't mean that to be as, oh, this is a healthy thing. I'm telling you the grim reality of it is if you aren't putting 120% into it, the guy next to you is, and the guy next to him is. So if you don't want it more than them, they're going to be more successful than you in a content creator space. It is a cutthroat competitive industry. You are actively competing against everyone around you. And you can either take that as motivation to work harder than them, or you can take that as daunting and scary and that it's too hard, you know? And that is why I think most people shouldn't be content creators, because I think like even if you have the drive and the passion and love to do it, you still might not be successful, you know? And on top of that, it's still a risk. It's not just a direct result of hard work, you know? So like, I think content creation, very few people should be full-time content creators, because you have to be a little like hyper fixated / obsessive with it to enjoy it, because it kind of needs to be your life and you need to be willing to sacrifice a lot, and you have to love it. Because if you don't love it and you get into it and then you somehow become successful, you're going to burn out. You need to be somewhat obsessive. Yeah. And like, if you aren't, that's fine. And you can still absolutely do content creation and have fun with it. But I just don't think you should make it a career. You can have it be a fun hobby and have it be a fun outlet and a creative outlet. And if it turns into something, that's awesome. But it's a lot harder to make it as a content creator if you're not working as hard as you possibly can, if that makes sense. And that's hard. That's a hard balance. It's like, that's why I think most people shouldn't. It's unhealthy. Like the way that I choose to live my life as a result of streaming, most people probably wouldn't like. But for me, I love it. It's awesome. I'm constantly stimulated. I always have things to do. And as a result of that, I don't have to worry too much about like my finances, but I also just am so worried about content, so it basically makes up for that. But you got to be a little crazy to be able to do it, if that makes sense. And that's like a hard balance. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I know I kind of rambled there for a second, but it's at the end of the day, most content creators don't live a healthy work-life balance, and you got to find ways that you can try your best to and not burn out. I'm not saying it's impossible to have a good, healthy work-life balance. I just think I don't see very many uber successful people that are putting 40 hours a week into content creation. Just straight up. There's very few people that are really successful in the streaming and YouTube space that only put 40 hours a week into it. Little tangent there, but I hope that I don't want to make it seem like content creation is all bad. I'm saying as full-time content creator, you have to love it. Otherwise you're going to burn out at the end of the day. That is the reality of it. So, all right, I'm just going to scroll through and see which ones look the most in-depth here. If you can give me tips on editing and ways to improve since I'm trying to get better. I'm working on my editing. Prince, if you're still in chat, how many edits have you made? How many videos have you made? In general, there's a rule of thumb that a lot of people use. You need to make about 50 long-form YouTube videos before you know what you're doing. And I don't say that because like, oh, everyone learns at a different pace. You might figure it out sooner or later or whatever. But I think I've found this to be very true, because you need to learn firsthand things like pacing, things like, when you should put a graphic on, when you should cut away from something, how fast the video should be in the beginning, how long it should be in the end, when you know to show something and not show something. 50 is like the average. Yeah. I've only made 4,000. Tough, Aves. Yeah. I just started making YouTube content. How can I reach more people? Taking that same rule of thumb that I just mentioned, I would say that you should make 50 videos. If you think about it like this, if you started content creation today and you made one YouTube video a week, okay? One YouTube video a week, which I think is doable for most people, even if you have a full-time job. If you made one video a week, that is even a 5-minute video or a 3-minute video on YouTube. It doesn't have to be the longest video, but at least over like a TikTok, because I think it's really easy to make a TikTok. So if you made a 3 to 20-minute video once a week, and you did that for a full year, and you learned and you watched your videos back after you're done with them, and then you took what you learned from the previous video and applied it to the next one, and you did that over and over and over and over and over again for 52 weeks out of the entire year. You did it the entire year. I guarantee you would be an incredible editor by the end of that. So I think it's really just about exposure and learning, and just there's not really a fast track to it. You need to learn it yourself, and you need to learn it like by literally throwing yourself into it. That's the only way you can do it, really. Because you can read and watch all the content creation tips videos and tricks videos or whatever. There is no shortcut. You need to learn it, and you need to understand why you're making the decisions you're making in like certain situations. And there's no one that can explain that and walk you through that better than yourself and you figuring it out in the long run. Totally fair if you skip my question. I have like 30 questions in line, but I'm scrolling through the best ones that I want. So, all right. We got a question from Bunny. What would be beneficial for creators who are maybe not as great as a player? Should they focus more on clips / content versus just gameplay and whatnot, if that makes sense? Let's see. Yeah, I think definitely not focusing on like gameplay clips. Like realistically, even somebody like me who's a relatively good Valorant player, you know, I've been raiding a lot. I always think like there's always 10s. There's realistically, if you're here to watch me because I'm a great Valorant player, it's like you're probably the minority in chat, you know? Because like if you want to go watch the best at a game, you're gonna go watch the best. You're not gonna go watch me. You're gonna go watch Zekin and Tens and Asu and Timmy and all those people that are insanely talented at FPS games. And as much as I'd like to be that person, because I am competitive and I like being a competitive person, you know, it can be a way to get in the door, obviously, because I have credibility in being a high level player. Like it's there's always a bigger fish, you know, there's always somebody better at the game. So, so even in my situation, I think it's important to have like other things that define you that aren't around the game. Like for example, I'm backflip guy, trampoline guy, the seal guy, you know, someone's always going to be better than you. So yeah, I think, yeah, I think definitely not focusing on gameplay as much is not the move. I'm here for 10s. Let's go, Colin. Thanks for 13 months, by the way. And yeah, I think story-driven content is the best, and not necessarily that you have to write a story, tell the story well. So like, if you had a really funny experience with a dude in Valorant who was either being really funny or really mean or really toxic or really like just super raging at the game, like if you're telling a story about an experience you had from your perspective and you tell it well, and I'm not saying you need to audibly walk somebody through the story, but you can display it and edit it in a way where the viewer can get the story and make them feel the experience you were feeling, whether good, bad, happy, sad, or whatever. That is like infinitely more valuable than being good at the game. Infinitely more valuable. Like, because the people that are really good at the game, they're going to be insane at the game, and they will always get viewers for being good at the game. But like the people that can tell a story in whatever situation they're in are the content creators that are the most adaptable. Yeah. How do you recommend growing a YouTube channel? I've been trying to do YouTube for about 2 to 3 years and can't seem to get consistent as I don't know what to upload. All right, I'm going to look through your channel. And again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I'm just trying to help you because you're asking a question and you're obviously here to get beneficial information. So with that, I'm going to try to look at your content and see where I think you could benefit from and go through that. So we got Lightning here in chat. 391 subs, 313 videos uploaded. Do we have any shorts? Okay, we have a decent bit of shorts. Let's go. I can tell you just from quickly scrolling through here, it's clear that you don't have exactly... Okay, actually, most of your videos are shorts. It's clear that, like, from the viewing perspective, that you don't know what you want to do. Because we have Valorant. Not sure what that is. Valorant, a TikTok, Jujutsu Kaisen anime, Jet nerfs, Genshin. And it's okay to be all over the place. Like, you can make content all over the place, but I think having some consistency in your content is incredibly helpful. Let's see which videos you've posted recently. So I think you need to make the decision of what kind of content you would like to make. I think that is probably something that's a bit hard to answer. So figuring out what content you want to make, I think, is going to be the most important thing for you. And then applying that same rule that I was talking, you've been here the whole time. So the same rule that I was talking about of like, you need to make 50 long form videos to really understand what you want, or how it be, to actually be able to pull off, I think, what you want to do. I think you need to pick a niche of some sort, whatever it is. If it's Genshin, if it's Mario, if it's commentary or Valorant, and stick to it for a bit. Stick to it for a bit and see just what happens. And just be able to learn and get better at making content there. Because I think the more... If you think about it, every time you post a video, YouTube in their algorithm are trying to find your audience. They're trying to find people that want to watch your content, okay? So if you post a video that's about Valorant and then instantly post a video following that's about Genshin, and then instantly post an IRL video... What happens is you posted a Valorant video and it's like, okay, some people liked that. We're going to recommend the next video to some of the Valorant people because they obviously like that video. And then a Genshin video gets recommended and then very few people click on it. And then even if that video does well, your next video is most likely going to get recommended to more of a Genshin audience. And then continue. It just kind of is like very few people, I think, have seen early success with tons of variety content. And if they have had success, they've been on YouTube for like 10, 20 years now. Like, if you look at like Penguin Zero, like Charlie, Moist Critical, he is one of very few people that can just post whatever he wants. And as much as like, I am now trying to make the transition of like, I want to be able to post whatever I want and make a video on rock climbing or make a video on Valorant or on Genshin or something, or I can do any of those things, you know, whatever. If I started with doing that, I don't think I would have been able to build an audience the way that I have, though, because I've now learned how to make really good content in the Valorant space, and now I need to take all the skills that I've learned and drop them in a different category. So, yeah, and it's definitely difficult to get new viewers to sub if they don't know what they're subscribing for. Exactly. So, and it's hard to break out of that niche. So, like, it's good advice in the short term to find a niche and stick to it. And then bad advice in the long term, because like if you find a niche and stick to it and then it dies, it's like you can't really do anything about it. So having variety is helpful, but just not worry about that now. It's not. All right, back to the questions. Let's go. Can someone become relevant without being known for a gimmick? Example, Panda Radiant or your trampoline. I think having lots of gimmicks are helpful. I don't think you need to have one specific gimmick. I think Joel's is a good example of someone who's like done gimmicks well. And I think they're helpful, but it's definitely not the end all of content. Because if you want to be a content creator and you just keep doing the same gimmick over and over again, like people aren't gonna keep watching to watch the same thing. You need to come up with more. Yeah, gimmicks are helpful to becoming relevant, and then like they can be hurtful if you're still just sticking to the same gimmick. I think like Joel's, you know, with Reyna, like the Migo Reyna me swing kind of thing. He did such a good job in that. He gained a lot of viewers from that, and he gained a lot of things out of it, farmed a ton of really good content out of it, and then kind of let it die for a little bit, you know? And now he can reference it, and it's funny, and it's not a part of who Joel's is, but it helped build a lot of his viewership from that, you know? And so gimmicks can be helpful as long as they're not your whole personality, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can ride a gimmick for your entire career, but I'm a firm believer that at a certain point, it will all come to a crashing halt. Like, it's important while you're riding the gimmick high of content creation or whatever to experiment with things, try new things. Maybe you'll stumble into a new gimmick that like expands your audience into a whole different market. And now you have 2 gimmicks working for you at the same time. Because if you think about it, like for me, I was like the backflip guy, now I'm the trampoline guy, I'm the killjoy guy, the speedrun guy, the cypher hating guy. You know, I am the speedrunner, the radiant, the nuzlocke. I have tons of gimmicks on YouTube that are constantly basically advertisements to come watch my content, you know? So there's tons of things that you can do. You can become relevant without being having a gimmick, but having at least some things that people can reference you for, I think is nice. Okay. Bum, bum. Let's go. Is it worth going out of your way to meet new people and network? If so, what is the best way to network? Depends on the size of creators. Networking becomes more highly beneficial when you're a bigger creator than a smaller one. Because if you think about it, like, if you're collabing with someone, and I don't say this to be egotistical and mean at all. I don't want to come across as like just viewership is everything. But if you're collaborating with another streamer, say you both have an average of 10 viewers, the maximum amount of like cross-pollination with your content, even if your audience is 100% collab and you guys both double your viewership, you'd both be at 20 viewers, which is great. That's awesome growth. But at the end of the day, it's infinitely more worth it to invest into like YouTube content or like long form content that isn't gonna die, at least, if that makes sense. Like if you collab with that content and then make a YouTube video out it, way better. Like if that's much more beneficial. But if you're talking about like on stream network, kind of like meet people to stream with, I think it's not really worth it too much. Because like basically I think it's so much worth it to invest in things outside of live streaming. Because if you think about it, if you break it all down real quick, say you have, for example, let's take the amount of people that are here in the stream right now. We have like 300 people here right now watching the stream. Okay? If I cut this video down and we upload it to Keeoh Plus, even Keeoh Plus, my second channel that we don't edit content on very much, and we upload it, and I'm glad people enjoy it. This video would probably get more views than are in this stream right now, if that makes sense. And it has the potential to have way more viewers, total of like how many people that reached. And if you take it to like an actual degree where you've edited the content, like on our main channel, I'll take streams that had a total of maybe 5,000 different people in the streams or something like that, turn them into YouTube videos where over 100,000 individual people watched them on each video, you know? And each time that I have one of those videos or whatever, I have a plug for my Twitch, and that becomes a funnel for people to come check out the live stream. And that's a much better ecosystem for stuff like that. And so at a certain point, if you're a streamer and you're at 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000 viewers, it can be a lot more worth it to network, and it becomes a lot easier to network because you have that credibility established. I think you can build an audience without networking too much, and just making really good content. And then networking becomes easier as you're like at a certain point, more established, if that makes sense. Because then you have a little bit more to bring to the table to help mutually benefit the other people you're collaborating and networking with. Long answer, and I hope I answered your question. But yeah, there you go. Okay. My last question auto sent, but dividing school and content, still always a back of the mind thing, but to try to post more stuff because it's fun. However, when life like school is hella hard, how can I maintain and continuing looking for the positives? I think just being scheduled. Like, I think if you are pursuing content creation on the side, let it be a hobby. Don't pursue it like you're going to be a full-time content creator. Don't put the pressure on yourself of trying to become a full-time content creator while it is something that is part-time, okay? And if you're trying to make it a full-time thing, then that's a different story. But if you're doing it on the side, let it be something that's on the side, and have it be fun. Have it be an outlet for you that you get to, if you have to take a week, 2 weeks, a month off of streaming or making content, do it. Like, it's okay. It's a hobby, and it's okay. And I think you will make significantly better content if you're not forcing yourself to be like, oh, I have to edit this TikTok today. I have to get a video out. I need to do this. Unless it's your job, you don't. you don't. There's nothing that's forcing you to make content. So let it be fun. Let it be fun. And if it's not feeling fun, don't do it. Or just only do the fun things. You know, like, you don't have to. And I think if you do that enough, you'll have more fun with it. And then you'll end up, as a result, if you're having more fun with it, you're probably making better content. So I just let school be the side thing. True. I mean, that's what I would do if I was like trying it as full time, but it's just... All right. I'm trying to find that motivation to get past that lump of actually just going and pushing content and finding a group that I could possibly hold accountable for their goals and also hold me accountable for pushing for my goals. But I just don't have the motivation. The YouTuber model and everything set up and used to be kind of bigger a bit, but lost it all due to life issues. I mean, you definitely can get it back. I think that's not a thing. I think for most people that want to get into content creation, just send it. Just like, I like to think, take a page. I reference, I'm not a full on ridiculous philosophical stoic, but I do reference a lot of stoic practices in both playing Valorant ranked for your mental health and also in content creation. And one of these practices in Stoicism is accepting the worst case possibility, okay? And it's not saying that you're okay with it or it's gonna make you happy, but it's understanding what the worst case is, because then it takes away that anxiety and fear that comes with it. So if you take your example from here and you start content creation again, what is the worst case situation? I think the worst case situation is nobody shows up to your stream, nobody really watches your content. What past that? You tried something. Do you know what the benefits were from that? You tried something and you put yourself out there and you had a chance at maybe making better content. And you can even, if in that worst case scenario, you had 0 viewers, you had 0 views on your videos and stuff, that can be taken as motivation to, hey, it's only up from here. So there's always a way to look at it from, like, what did I learn from these things? So I think you can do it. Send it. Try your best. And yeah, not the only thing that's holding you back is yourself from trying, you know? So yeah, I recommend checking it out. Streaming to even 3 viewers unironically helped me so much with social anxiety and public speaking. Yeah, I mean, so this is something that I learned, and I've talked about this a lot, so apologies if you heard this before, but I learned this in diving. Because I did springboard diving for 10 years, and mentally what you had to do is go get on the diving board, do a bunch of flips and twists. Sometimes you mess up and you physically hurt yourself. And the fear of doing that every dive becomes easier and easier the more you do it. And so by the time I started content creation, I was ending my diving career where the fear of failure and the actual risk of failure was like physical injury. When I started streaming, the fear of failure and the risk of getting no viewers was like, oh, there's no risk. Oh, there's literally no risk is what it felt like. It was when I started streaming, it was like, dude, if I stream and I get 0 viewers, it's like, it doesn't matter. Nobody sees it. like the only person that sees that is me, and I don't care. So you can literally take all the power away from it of that anxiety if you just accept that, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It, like, literally, what did you lose, you know? So anyway, I hope that helps. Let's keep going. Is focusing on YouTube or streaming better in your mind, Wallace? Both. It's hard to do both. I've seen very few people do both well. I think very few streamers do YouTube well, and very few YouTubers do streaming well. And that's just the truth of the matter. I think there's, like, most of the time when I focus harder on YouTube content, my Twitch streams suffer, and when I focus harder on streaming, my YouTube content suffers. And that is the ecosystem of being a streamer. But I think YouTube provides more opportunities. So if you can come up with a system similar to what I've done, and feel free to model after me if you need to, or if it helps. Stream the content you're making and turn that content into a YouTube video. That is the win-win situation of being a successful streamer YouTuber combo. Because if you can film yourself streaming something, you get that exposure from being a streamer that feeds into your community and then feeds into making a product. I have a graphic actually for this. So this is one of my OG friends. I actually don't know what he's up to right now. But this is Sam Woodall. He used to work with Harris Heller, who, if you're familiar with his content, he does a lot of review content and a lot of channel helping content. This is very old. The OG, but this is incredible. It's not super old. It's 2020 is this. But this is a really good flow for content. So how to grow on Twitch. I can link this in chat. This is like one of the most helpful things. Sam is not a good example of what to follow. No, that's valid. I think this flowchart is very helpful though. I think this flowchart is incredibly helpful because he's been on the successful side of it. So where to post content, YouTube, okay. I don't need to go into this. You can research this yourself. I just put the link in chat. Yeah. I think, okay, yeah, so you can produce a video that contains educational content on a game that you play on stream. You can promote your Twitch channel. It says, yeah, this is pretty much just what I said, but in a little bit. Yeah, this is more of what I'm talking about. Twitch should not be your primary evergreen platform. Twitch should be the place where you create evergreen content that then lives forever on another platform. Does that sound good? Does that make sense? I often come up with big ideas for videos, but I often struggle with keeping motivation, leading to too many scrapped videos that sometimes don't even get past scripting or editing. I think you need to set realistic goals. Find a goal that's good for you for something like this. I think you need to set realistic goals. I think every content creator, especially starting out, should set realistic goals. If that's putting a YouTube video out once a week, do it. If it's putting a YouTube video out once a month, do that instead. It doesn't have to be the biggest, craziest video ever. I think making something that's a little bit more attainable and not something that's crazy hard, like once a month is fine. And I think for if you're starting out in content creation, having bigger ideas is a bad thing. I think having like super big production ideas that you want to put, a month of your time into and then another month editing can obviously lead out to burnout because, if you spent 3 months in the process from start to finish in a video, from scripting to actually recording to producing to editing to posting to thumbnail to title, if you put that much work into a video and then it gets 100 views on YouTube, you are going to quit. Like it's just you're mentally going to give up. And like that's so valid, it's so fair. Oh, he does. That's interesting. I'm down. I love Doog Doog's content. Doog. I just called him Doug. I totally love Doog Doogs. I've seen a bunch of his content on Twitch recently. I haven't watched a lot, but Doog Doog. Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of content that I've been watching recently, so it's been fun. Anyway, I think making more achievable goals that you can crush. Like, there's a lot of psychology behind setting a goal that you can slam. And so set a goal that you can crush. Like, if it's posting 1 TikTok a week, that is super easy. And then if you start to do that and you stick to it for a month and you're like, damn, I kind of crushed that. Maybe I can do 2 a week. And then you go, that was pretty easy. Maybe I can do 3. Maybe I can do 4. Maybe I can do 5. And you slowly take chips at that to make bigger and bigger projects. You'll have a much more higher success rate than somebody who tried to jump 10 steps at a time instead of the person who took the time to add to their skills 1% at a time. So, dreaming big for things that you could do once you get bigger is a good motivator, for sure. All right. I make video essays that take roughly a month per video to make. Do you have any advice on how to keep motivation when I'm putting a month plus into production just to get 500 views? That's what I just talked about that. I think that may have been the same person that asked the question. So, yeah, breaking it down into smaller problems. I really want to get back into streaming. Do you have any tips to help kickstart? I went to TwitchCon last year and it really made me want to start streaming again. Start. Just go live. Just hit the go live button. I think that you just gotta do it. You gotta just pick a day. Say today's the day. I'm gonna go live today. If your goal is to be a streamer and you want to have fun with streaming and stuff, just gotta send it, you know? You just gotta go for it. All right. All right. I'm gonna try to slam through some of these videos or some of these questions, and we've been here for about a good hour, so hopefully I've answered a lot of questions already, but I'll keep going. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, a couple of the questions have repeated themselves, so I'm just skipping some of them. How do you go about reaching brands to sponsor your videos and or negotiate with them? For example, I'd love to work with AirUp or another brand that's not specifically Val service like Val Tracker. Thanks, Brinks. Brinks, you're still in chat, right? I mean, definitely having a lot of credibility under your belt in terms of like the size of your content creation is helpful. The higher the number of subscribers and views you're getting on your videos, I think the better. Obviously, it's like super, it's definitely harder to get sponsors the smaller you are as a creator, I think. But I've had a lot of success DMing brands on Twitter and sending them emails. I have an agency that does a lot of this for me and stuff, but like I've gotten deals with brands that are not in the space at all purely by hitting them up and just being like, hey, I'd like to work with you. I like your products. So I mean, obviously a lot more than that, a lot more than just saying that. I think going at it in a way that's very professional as from a business standpoint. I can audibly read, I'm not going to share the whole doc here, but I can audibly read one of the email templates, for example, that I've put together just before in the past. I have an example that's pretty good here. So when I reach it out, I just say on like in an email, for example, or even a Twitter DM, I'd say, hey there, my name is Keeoh. I'm mainly a gaming Valorant content creator with 1.6 million plus supporters across my platforms, mainly YouTube, Twitch, or mainly on YouTube and Twitch. I have a very positive, active, and brand-friendly personality, as well as a dedicated community. I'm consistently trying to push the boundaries of content creation. For example, I currently stream from my one-of-a-kind streaming studio. I love your brand and your stuff, and I think my audience would love it too, this type of stuff. And I'd love to partner. I'd love to explore the possibility of partnering up with you. Yada, yada, yada. That type of stuff. Have you already answered something about wanting to dive into variety? Is that still waiting to be answered? I haven't answered that specifically, I think. So... Alright, let's keep going. Scotty asked, what would you say to someone trying to take a variety route as far as it goes content-wise, and move to being able to do what Smitty does or Puffer per se? Let me see. I don't know Smitty at all. Is this, Scotty, is this... bunch of question marks? Hey, I've never seen this person. I'm so sorry. 7 million subscribers. I'll have to watch some of this guy's content. Be pulling crazy views. Friend of Jericho is all I know about Smitty. Who was the other guy? Big Puffer?
Hello, everyone.
What the brain rot thumbnails? Hey, if it works, it works. Ooh, that's a tough one because I think it's a lot harder to grow initially as a variety content creator, but then once you cross the threshold and kind of crack the code to pacing videos and figuring it all out, I mean, you make good content, so I don't see how that wouldn't be a problem. But I think just getting a footing is a lot harder, because generally when like variety content, like people like the people you mentioned, or like Penguin Zero or Video Game Donkey, they've been around for so long and they've spent so long establishing themselves as variety people that now when something like a new game comes out, or, you know, a drama on a situation or something comes up, like they somewhat have a monopoly on the space. Not saying that you can't make content like that at all. It is harder though, because I think the titans are a bit louder there, if that makes sense. It's hard to say. I think variety content is just something that's very hard to get into initially, because I think like getting somebody to click on a variety video that you make consistently, like in different categories all the time, is hard. Because like what Brink said earlier is like, you know, getting as a viewer, if you subscribe to someone with a variety of content, you don't really know what you're signing up for. You need to know what you're signing up for. Niche and variety are also not mutually exclusive. Their niche is variety. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So benefits and drawbacks for sure. I don't have the experience as a variety creator. I'm now trying to branch into that. And I do think, at least in my experience so far, it's been significantly easier to grow initially in a niche and then transfer that to variety, because I've exposed so many people to how like the style of my content through the niche, and now we can translate that to variety and IRL and all sorts of stuff a lot easier, because I think we have a lot of things down that I wouldn't have had that knowledge going into. So yeah, variety's hard, man. Variety's hard. Wallace asked, what is a good video length? As long as it needs to be, I would say. I think a lot of variety creators don't actually start as variety creators. I mean, look at like Mr. Beast, for example. He did Call of Duty commentary before becoming the biggest YouTuber in the world. Like, want to get off just a single game though? Yeah, I think you definitely can. I think you could even have a wider niche of like, I'm going to play FPS games. I'm going to play like these obscure games and mess around with my friends. I don't know if you saw, I literally got you. Oh yeah, I saw it. It was so funny. Look at the comments, man. Risen asked, would you ever be down to play more games other than Val? I would love to see you play some TCG Card Shop Simulator, for example. I'm definitely interested in playing a lot of different games as of recently. So, yeah, I definitely will be playing more games. But I think for me as a creator, just my own thought process to share with you guys, I mainly want to do other games. If I do other games, I want there to be a bigger goal or challenge or task to complete. Because I think if I just play, like, I played this game, Keeoh plays Fortnite today, I can't make a YouTube video out of that. Like, if I were to do something, it needs to have like a bit more of an extra element to it. So like, for example, like we have a 24 hours of Overwatch stream coming up soon. The whole goal of that is I'm playing for 24 hours. We're going to see what rank I start in, what rank I end in, and we could build a story off that. So I think having games that are have a little bit of direction and goals are helpful. And like maybe TCG Card Shop Simulator could have a goal where it's like, okay, I'm going to try to beat this game. I'm going to get to the end of this game. and at least we could build a little bit of a story off it. But I think just having at least some sort of goal in it is very helpful, at least for me. All right. In terms of supporting someone who wants to be a content creator, how do you do that? I'm a social media manager for a content creator, but they've not been as successful recently as in the past. I'm unsure how to support them more. Indrid, what do you do exactly as their content creator? They're your social media manager. Casino Simulator Part 2. Dude, I actually might make a full main channel on Casino Simulator because the content was so funny. I might make a main channel video out of that. How is that video even doing on Keeoh Plus? There's a good chance I make that video. Like, because that video, the story developed itself, you know? By the end of it, it was like, we need to see what the illegal slap betting is. Like, dude, we could do it. Oh, man. Aves, you here still? Let's go. Okay, wait, let me try to rapid fire a little bit of questions. You think it's worth when you just started streaming to stick to one game / ideal, grow community off that ideal, and then branch into other games / ideals? I think it's mainly better to find a niche. It doesn't necessarily have to be one game, but having at least a little bit more of a niche is super important. I think we've answered that a little bit, but I've always been interested in content creation, but find it intimidating to start. I'm afraid of accidentally copying other creators or creating boring content while trying to stay unique. How do you find your own style in creating content? I mean, your own style, even if you fully copied somebody else, is going to be different than somebody else's. Hit the old Ludwig yoink and twist. I am not a fan of the straight up yoink, but I think the yoink and twist is a big move. So run it up. Did I zone out during my question? Oh, you did. Oh, wait, I can go back to it. What do you do as the, like, in your role of a social media manager? No, you're good. You're good. You asked the question like 40 minutes ago. It's on me. I'm catching up on questions here. Oh, man. Mostly, I manage their TikTok. So do you manage the editing or do you manage the posting, or like, what do you do? Like, what is your whole process behind managing that? Editing, I don't have access to posting. I mean, I don't know what content you're editing right now. I think it's hard to answer this question because I don't know exactly what we're talking about, but I think learning to pace videos, especially on TikToks, well, is hard because you need something that's engaging to where when people scroll by, they don't instantly want to leave. Because, like, if you don't engage somebody within, like, literally 2 seconds, they are going to be leaving the video. So I think understanding how to pace it well and space it out to the, like, because there are points where in a TikTok even, you can let a whole clip play for like 30 seconds, but most of the time it's not at the very beginning. And like, you need to build up to it and kind of like tell a little bit of, I think, let me put it this way. Ask yourself from the content you're editing, when you watch the TikTok that you've edited back, what, as a viewer, am I getting out of this? Am I getting humor? Am I getting a cool play? Am I getting a story? Am I getting, like, what entertainment value is this providing? And I think that'll help. Because if you look at it from that, I've started to look at, like, my TikToks from that, and I've scrapped so many. Because I'm just like, this is content, but it's not very good. And like, it just didn't have an actual purpose, like, if that makes sense. So having things with a clearer purpose is helpful. Avis Mahul asked, I want to actually get back into streaming. Should I actually put the effort in to make content outside of Twitch? It's Mahol. Sorry, Avis Mahol. Sorry, didn't understand that. My bad. We had intro that reels the viewers in instead of cold openings that are into playful, funny moments. Yeah, it definitely could be. I'd have to see. You could send me the content if you don't want to share it in Twitch as well. You could send me it in DM or something. We could figure it out. I think you could make really good short form, especially with the variety of games you play, Aves. I think you could make really good short form on either TikTok or YouTube Reels or something. Yeah, make stream content. No, I got what your question is. I think you shouldn't make long form because I think that's just not probably worth the effort and time in comparison to your other projects of like Mavetivity and obviously all the channels you're working on with me. This is the leads TikTok. Okay. I'll check it out. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff recently. I think you should just do some short form. I think you should do short form when you feel like you have good short form that you can do. In the same way of answering Indrid's question of like, what content does this what does this provide? You know, because you play a lot of really weird games and really interesting games. Like, for example, that one game you played, is like one of the most prominent streams in my head that you've done. Was that one game with the pictures? It was just such an interesting, the picture where it like you take the picture and you do that or whatever, the Polaroid one. I don't even know what it is, but that stream had me hooked in for a bit, and I watched all your short form on it as well. Playing games like that and doing a little bit of production on the clips of it could be really cool. Of just like, hey, this is the trippiest game I've ever played. This is like one of the most creative games I've ever played. And just like, doesn't even have to be a crazy intro or anything, or like explain or voiceover or anything. I think I could find a lot of success really leaning into puzzle games is my main thing. I think there's a big audience of people that could get reeled in on that if you could find like, and I think short form is the best. Because then if people want to check it out, they can watch you do the whole thing. But I don't think somebody's going to want to sit through like a YouTube video watching through the whole puzzle thing. Because then they'd probably just want to play the game, you know, themselves versus watch a whole YouTube. But they probably want to watch a stream is my thought. So I actually think that would actually be the most ideal for like short form to stream content flow. I think if you had like good pacing on a TikTok or Reels or something, they could do well. Yeah, exactly. They're already the Goliaths that post the 3-hour playthrough videos. Yeah. And maybe you could do that too. It might, you know, there's always room for more of those, but, yeah, I think having that kind of stuff could be really cool. And it wouldn't be that much more work after you're done streaming to like make one TikTok of the game, or even none if you're like, this game wasn't that interesting or hard to like explain well. You could just be like, oh, okay, this one was really cool visually and looked sick. Let's like abuse that from like, cause thinking about like, if you did the very intro of a TikTok of like pure gameplay from that Polaroid game of like a clip of you like taking a picture, cut it to where you like place it there, and then you walk into it like sideways or whatever, and did a little voiceover of like, this is the trippiest game I've ever played, you know? Like, and then cutting to actual content of the game and maybe explaining it or something. That would be sick. I think that content would do really well. All right. Zeus asked, I started streaming a lot more consistently lately, but I feel like my views are tied to one game. When I switch to another game, I just can't grow. What should I do? Do you post content elsewhere? Because I think, I had the same thing for a long time. When I played Overwatch mainly and I switched to Fortnite, I lost a bunch of viewers. When I switched from Fortnite to Valorant, I lost a bunch of viewers. People are used to the same thing that they're normally used to. So if you want to transition into other games, the best way to do it is to do it slowly. So if you have a current audience on Twitch, and you want to maintain that and bring people into other stuff, do it slowly. If your game is Valorant and you want to start playing Fortnite, for example, do a 2-hour stream that you start with Valorant and then you say, hey guys, I'm going to switch over to a different game, and bring those people along and give them a reason to stay and hang out with you. Versus I've seen some crazy decisions from content creators where they burn out of the game that they've been playing and they're like, I'm never playing this game ever again. I've seen people go from thousands of viewers to 15 over the years, over like the course of like 6 months to a year. I've seen people go from like literal thousands of viewers because they're just like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore. Switch to a completely different game and then insta drop off. And so sometimes that can work really well though. If like for example, Jonas, I think his pivot is good because he was getting burnt out on Valorant. Really likes Deadlock. Deadlock's a new game. There's a lot of viewership there. But just switching and then not having like a content plan is a problem. So like if you switch from Valorant to another game or something like that, have a plan. Don't just go, I'm now playing this game. Have a plan of like, okay, we're going to grind ranked at least, you know, or something like this, or get up to this. Ugh. All right. Okay. Sama asked, Sama, you still here? All right, I'm going to start like rapid firing these questions. I have a lot still to go through. I'm going to try to go fast, but I want to give as much information as possible. But we've been here for like an hour and a half, so. All right. Goodness. All right. Been working as an editor for over 2 years now, and I've been pretty consistent with it, constantly evolving the way I'm editing, but it seems like no matter what I do with the progress is incredibly slow. I need to know... I know we need to upload shorts more often, but other than that, I don't know what to do. It seems like our average view duration is always around 20-30%, and even after 2 years of uploading, we're still at only 1,000 out of 4,000 watch time hours. Valorant always does the best, and variety games always flop. Any advice? That's a hard one. I feel like... Oh, that's... I need a second to think about it. Can you give me a video? Can you send me a link to a video that I could watch or something, or a channel? If you're down, if you're not allowed to. If you're not allowed to share who you're editing for or anything, that's totally fine. I don't want to just like rip the person you're creating content for a new one or anything for like the content or anything. Because this, I'm going to be honest, from the information I have, it doesn't sound too much like an editing problem. It could be slightly in certain areas, but I think most of the responsibility for that is on the creator for the most part. Because I think... Okay, let me see this. Spring Break, let's see. First off, thumbnails I just don't think are... I don't click on thumbnails like these for the most part. And I think probably a lot of people don't. Thumbnails definitely could use work for sure. Let me just click on the most recent video.
Buy.
Okay.
Buy something.
Shut up, Allie.
Shut that hole.
You're only mad because you're Hispanic.
I'm back.
Oh! Oh, fuck!
No? I've always been mad, so I have nothing.
Okay, so right off rip, I have a lot of comments. I think unless this was like the intro and there's... Oh no, it goes to this. It goes to this screen. Hold up. I'm gonna be very, very blunt, and again, I don't mean this to be hurtful. I don't mean this to be mean. Again, take this with a grain of salt because I don't want to just come across as a total meanie dude. No one cares. Valorant funny moments. No one cares. Unless you're already an established creator and we care about your opinion, you have credibility established. Valorant funny moments from a random person, unless they're really funny, unless you're like naturally a comic and you have like Cheap Pickle. I'll watch his Valorant funny moments because the way that he socially interacts with people is so funny. And that is like hilarious content. But that's such an outlier in this case. And again, I don't mean this to be mean or anything.
You guys want to do 5 duelists?
God, no.
You can. So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. With that, the content itself isn't bad, but throwing a viewer into this is bad. Because if you just throw somebody into something that they don't know why they're clicking on the video, like if I clicked on this video, that the first one that was of like the most embarrassing way to go in Valorant, and I just got thrown 30 seconds of random clips, Valorant funny moments, and then a bunch of just clips and stuff, right? Why did I click on the video? Did I click on the video expecting Valorant funny moments? No, I didn't. I clicked on the video because it looked like it was, you know, we're gonna like lose on Abyss or fall off on Abyss or something. And I don't know if that was even in the first 30 seconds. It might have been right after the next clip, but even then,
You bad as fuck.
yeah, no, it's not even in the first 30 seconds. But anyway, here's the thing though. Actual content isn't bad. The actual content of the funny moments isn't bad, but you need a story. A story that drives the video is incredibly imperative to success in this way. I actually tried putting the following clip alone as the intro, but he told me to change it. That was a poor decision on his part. Because you have to give payoff to the thumbnail and title. But even then, I think the thumbnail and title could use work. But if you look around at all the other Valorant creators that are posting content, who is posting just stream highlights? And what you can do is you could take the exact same thing that he's doing and make almost the same video, but pitch it in a way that it's... Because if you break down my videos... I have a secret to tell you guys, and I'm so sorry to break the fourth wall for you. My videos are just stream highlights. They are. Most of my videos are straight up stream highlights. They're stream highlights with a story. I have captured an intro and have a vision throughout the video that I'm trying to complete a goal and do something. But at the end of the day, if you take off the intro and you take off that, it is mainly stream highlights. So if you pitch it right and tell a good story with it, you can do stream highlight content. It's just about pitching it the right way and telling a story through it. Fraud, bro. I know. Mind blown. I know. So the content itself isn't bad, but you need a story. You need something that is driving the video and has payoff for the viewer when they click on the video. Make sense? We recently started commissioning thumbnail art instead of Photoshop for them, so I'm hoping those work better. Yeah, I think though that probably won't help very much. I'm gonna be so honest. Because as soon as I clicked off on the video, I watched for about 3 seconds and I was like, okay, I don't know what this is gonna be, and this isn't paying off from the thumbnail that I just clicked on, so I'm gonna click off. So, and that's just the real, like, you have to be very real and be understanding of like, okay, like, people might click off within 3 seconds or 10 seconds of a video and not give it that much of a chance. So you need to draw them in. You need a hook, a story that is giving people reasons to continue watching. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. I hope that wasn't too, that definitely like is, yeah, I don't think it's totally on you, though, because it's not on you as the editor to make that story. It's definitely on the creator to make that story. Like, Aves will write me a script here and there when I'm really slammed, but for the most part, I write almost everything. And even when Aves writes something and sends it over to me, I don't just read off a script. I, like, alter it, put in my own words, and then make it, like, the way that I want it to be, you know? Because then it's, like, genuine there, you know? He scripts his streams fully. He's lying. Line? Can you stop sending the... Okay. I'm gonna skip that question. I'm gonna go to more specific ones. I'm gonna go more specific questions. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna go down and just be very picky on these questions here and then roll it. Do you think it's harder to become popular if you don't show your face when streaming or posting content? Not really. I mean, it can be a gimmick for you or it cannot be. I don't think it changes too much. Curry asked, how do you stay consistent and want to do it when most of the time you know no one will be there? I think using that as motivation instead of something that takes away from like your mental is super helpful. Instead of looking at it from the aspect of like, oh man, no one's here. This sucks. Why am I even doing this? Looking at it from the glass half full of that of like, okay, no one's here, but like, what can I learn from this and how can I grow? How can I make it so that more people are here the next time, you know? So did you watch the new IDOT video? There's a new IDOT video? I did not. All right, let's see if there's any good last questions in the last like 10 minutes and we'll see. All right, the Hyperactive asked, how do you network towards big esports orgs compared to semi-pro orgs? I ask as I've been trying to apply to C9, 100T, and the names of same level, and I can't find people to network with or getting that conversation going. By the way, this is all for esports. You commented on the tweet, right? Are you still here? Yeah, did you, you commented on the tweet earlier, right? Let me see. So, what do you do? Do you make content or are you trying to, like, what are you trying to do? Because in terms of like networking with esports organizations, realistically, there isn't much. I'm a freelance caster for esports, but want to work full-time at esports as partnership or marketing or management. Okay, I'm gonna be very, very real. You are not going to start working for an esports organization at the level of like C9, 100T, or anything like that. If you want to get into that, you need to kind of work your way into it. Probably working for very little wage to maybe even free if you want to get your foot in the door there. Because realistically, there's no one that's going to hire somebody that doesn't have any experience. And like, if you want to do that, if that's truly what you want to do, you probably won't make money on doing that for a while. Jobs in esports are incredibly scarce and incredibly competitive, and there are probably hundreds of people with more experience. And like, I'm sorry, that is the way it is. There are a lot of people that want to work in esports. I have 1 year partnership, 7 years of sales, and 1 year head of content. How much of this is in esports though? Because esports organizations don't really care for traditional marketing experience. So like, if you have 7 years of sales and marketing experience, like, it's good on the resume, but it doesn't help too much. So I feel like, okay, well, who have you worked with in these things? I'm not just trying to tear you a new one, because maybe you are super qualified for this. But I'm looking. I'm not in the communities. I pulled up your Twitter, and I'm not in the communities of either COD, F1, or CS2 really too much. So, the overlap between what you're known for and do versus like and what you've done or whatever is not with my circles. Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, I mean, if you get the connection to you know, apply for a job at one of those esports organizations, maybe you have the experience to do it. I don't really have the answer for you, honestly, on that, because you're not really in the circles that I'm in, so I don't know the credibility of your previous experience to say, oh, wow, that's awesome experience. I don't know how, like, if that was, like, lower league or, like, semi-pro or what. I don't know the difference. I don't know what the qualification criteria would be for that. Maybe you can, but it's like, if I can walk into a company, would you recommend doing that? Probably not. I think if you were going to try to get connections, I would go to events that they're hosting, that they're openly hosting and saying, like, okay, we have this 100T event, show up, do this. We have this event for this esports organization, show up, and talk to the staff there and talk to the people that are on the organization. That would probably be the best way to get your foot in the door without it being like an overstepping of anything. And don't go there with just the reason of that, but go there with the reason of to hang out and, like, you know, have a good time and network with other people there too. Maybe you'll meet other people there as well. So, yeah, that's a hard question to answer, because maybe you are super qualified in that. I don't know. But esports is incredibly tough to find full-time work in, especially in, like, yeah, all of that stuff. So, okay. All right. I think it's going to be the last question here as we wrap up this streaming office hours. Has been like a good hour 40 of answering questions. So I hope you guys have learned some stuff and how I've been able to help in any sort of marginal way. Vampirically Spooky asked, apologies if this was asked already, but what would you recommend for someone barely starting out for content? I've heard TikTok is good to gain a following, but I'm not sure what else I could do. I would like to stream and do a variety of content. I want to start out kind of slow to pace myself. I think that's very smart. Starting out slow is very important. Setting achievable goals is the biggest thing that you can do to help stay consistent. So if you're truly starting out, just go live. Go live on Twitch. Try it out. Record, stream, do whatever, hang out. You'll probably have 0 people watching. That's okay. And have a good time. And after you're done with your first stream, watch it back a little bit. See what direction that takes you. And from there, yeah, maybe start making a TikTok, but set a goal for yourself of streaming maybe like once a week to start out. And if you're feeling like you want to do more. But every time you set a goal, have it be a goal you know you can crush. I think that's really important for your psychology and your mental health, and just the ability to be able to do something well is learning it slowly versus trying to take off big chunks of things at a time. So, yeah. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helped. And yeah, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. And I think with that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out in chat and asking all these questions. I hope I was able to answer your questions. Type 1 in chat if you enjoyed the streaming office hours. And we definitely could do some more stuff like this, but I hope you guys had a good time.